Let me just start with great two passages. We think about this. Luke 2:10 just says, "The angel said to them, 'Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people. Today in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He is the Messiah, the Lord.'" And then later on, we think about Isaiah 9:6, where it says, "For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace, there will be no end." This is such a great time in the church year. And certainly there's lots of things that we can do and approach it. I don't know about you guys, but I've sometimes been intimidated by the season because you're trying to be creative and you're trying to put your best foot forward. And you also know this is a time that people are going to come as guests and trying to figure out some things. And let me just open up with a couple of things that I've at least found in my own heart. And I don't know if this resonates with others or not, but I think I learned after a while. I was trying to make these really complicated Christmas services and really intricate Christmas Eve services. And I was trying to be so creative that I almost felt checked of going, man, sometimes there's nothing wrong with keeping the message simple. And there's nothing wrong with just really letting the scriptures just speak for themselves. You don't have to help out God. You don't have to help out the scriptures. And especially when it came to Christmas Eve service, just realizing, people that they don't want to learn five brand new songs at the Christmas time. They want to come and they want to sing songs that they can really engage in worship. They want to hear the scriptures that really focus on the birth. And I don't have to always spin a new thing. I would say the same thing is true with Christmas kids productions. Sometimes we spend a lot of money in trying to make these big Christmas events with the kids. And finally, it was a ton of work. I had a couple of ladies in my church to say to me, "Would it be all right if we just kind of like dialed it back some, just made it simple, like put a couple kids in some old robes and read a couple scriptures and had them sing a couple songs?" And our congregation loved it. I mean, it was way less work, and it gave the kids a chance to enjoy the service without the stress of some big high production. So at least for my sake, what I've discovered is I gotta remind myself, keep it simple sometimes. You don't have to make it so complicated. There's one thing that I would pass on to you that I've found helpful. I've sometimes have done dedications around the Christmas season, and we think about Christ coming, and um, regardless of the time of year, one of the things that I would do as a pastor was I would give the parents a star, and you can buy them at hobby stores or craft stores. Because a pastor told me once, he says, take a picture that day when they're dedicating their kid, and then put that on the front of the star and the back of the star, write the date. And the whole idea was the star was what led the wise men to Jesus. And you, as parents, your job is to lead your kids to Jesus. And as their kids get older, then they can look at that star and realize that star is for me. But it's a great conversation piece to say, you were dedicated this day to Jesus, and this is your star. And so I've just through the years used stars throughout the year, but especially if I could do dedications around the Christmas season, I've just found that to be helpful. Let me start with asking this question because I'm curious to see if there's some controversy among us. I know there's some people that just go, I preach through the lectionary or I preach through a series and I don't pause for anything. So I don't do special Mother's Day. I don't do special Father's Day. And I know some people that say, I don't preach necessarily a Christmas message during the Advent season. I'm just curious, no judgment. Are there any out there that go, yeah, I don't do that. I keep trucking through the Bible and I don't veer from it. What are we dealing with out here? Are you all Christmas message people?
Yeah.
I follow the 4 Sundays of Advent.
Okay.
but that's actually part of the lectionary. So I do
Yeah.
follow the lectionary,
Okay.
but those 4 Sundays are always passages about the Sundays of Advent.
Yeah. Okay.
I find it challenging to come up with a new sermon for peace, a new sermon for love, and tie it to the Christmas Advent theme. I have to really think about it for a while because if you're preaching the four subjects of Advent and doing it with a Christmas message, I mean, just how many of those? Well, that's a lot of the same message. And since I keep my messages, you'd be surprised. Nobody here recognized that I preached love from 2011. I just thought it was a great sermon. And, so, but, coming up with something fresh for each
Yeah.
4 themes
Right.
it can be rough.
So I guess that's why I'm also wondering, do all of you typically light a candle and do Advent readings, or that's not part of the rhythm?
Yes,
Okay, so Joe, you're
yes.
saying
Yeah.
no. Okay.
Yes.
Is it a different reading each year, or do you use the same stuff?
Same one every year.
Okay. What about you, Bob? Is it different?
Well, what we do, we years ago we stole somebody else's idea, and we have what's called the Nativity and Light. And so we have candles that represent the various characters of the Christmas story that you would find
Oh,
in a nativity set. And then we have melded that with the 4 themes of the 4 different Sundays. And so during the children's sermon time, I bring the kids up to each of the 4 different stations, each station being, whatever the Sunday is. And we
mhm.
light the candle for that Sunday because we have goblets that are purple. And then we have one goblet that's clear, and we put a pink or a rose colored candle in it. And then we have, Angel Gabriel and the angels that are speaking to the shepherds. We have the wise men. So the whole front of the church is a display of candles and lights, and it's lit every single Sunday. As the season builds, the whole thing starts being lit throughout the whole service. And then on
Yeah,
Christmas Eve, then that whole thing is lit.
yeah. I found one thing that was helpful for me was I would use the Advent readings to allow people to come up to read them. So I would have
Mhm.
sometimes like we would have teenagers read it, or sometimes we'd have families, or sometimes we'd have older couples. And it was just like another opportunity for someone else to engage in ministry and have a chance to get there and do it. And then sometimes we have like really good writers in our congregation. So I sometimes ask some people, hey, could you write a little Advent reading? Of course, give them a couple of scriptures and a theme. But yeah, that was sometimes helpful, just to have different people, readers, to do that.
Yeah, we use a different family each year.
Yeah, yeah. And hopefully, we all know the tip that you light the candle if it's fresh. We've all seen the poor people up there trying to light a candle that won't ever light.
Or those igniter things not working.
Right. Yeah, that's happened too.
We got the big stick matches.
We've done every
Uh-huh.
variation from having small children that barely could read
Uh-huh.
to taking the 4 Sundays and taking my 4 most senior adults, helping them to the front and and then combinations of this family do it, the whole family come up and do one theme candle. It's just uh, it varies. It just depends. And
Yeah.
when you got them, I've had soldiers where I've had a soldier each time do it, and
Hmm.
Hey,
Yeah.
two questions on the Advent season. One, does everybody do a Christmas Eve service? Number two, if Christmas Day falls on Sunday, does everybody still do Sunday morning service as they would typically do it? Or does anybody
Yes.
not do either of those?
I do both. I do both as well.
Christmas Eve.
We always have Christmas Eve candlelight service, and we always have Christmas worship if it's on Sunday.
Yep, us too.
How
So
many of
we-
you collaborate with other churches? Do you work with community churches in your town to do like a combined service?
So the one thing that I'll say that we do maybe a little bit differently or unique, because and we have two other congregations that are at the church. They're both Alaska Native churches. We've had them join us for the Christmas Eve service, and then they always lead singing Silent Night or Holy Night or whatever the song is that we sing at the end, that everybody holds a candle. They
Yeah.
sing it in their native tongue, and then everybody
Nice.
tries to join in. Last
Yeah.
year we actually had a lady that we partner with ministry, and she did it in ASL. So she signed the Christmas Eve deal. So I think that's maybe just an idea to throw out for folks, is to try to connect with maybe some other organization, group, ministry,
Yeah.
reach, that you can have them come and participate in being a part of that.
Yeah.
We did the same thing in Colorado, but we had 6 different languages going on at the same time for Silent Night.
Wow.
And
Wow.
Sandy had rehearsed it with them, and so it was really kind of tingly, chilly, feely as you did all that stuff. It was pretty neat as we did that. Right now, I'm trying to work. We have an Adventist church that does our church on Saturday. Well, their Sabbath is on Friday, and he and I are hashing around this idea of having our Christmas Eve service on his Sabbath service on Friday night and having a combined service then. And we're trying to figure that out because they're a little different than we are. So yeah, they are, and we're talking about it already to make that.
Yeah.
We have a town Thanksgiving service and a town sunrise service. But Christmas,
What does that mean? Like the churches in
you know,
Cordova
every year
meet?
we meet somewhere, each pastor takes a different turn preaching at it or giving a devotional at it. And
Oh,
we
cool.
do. So, yeah, we do a town, the 4 or 5 churches get together
Yeah.
and we do, yeah.
I love it. That's great. I'm curious if you do community events around the Christmas season. I guess, Brad, I'm wondering if you could share a little bit about what you're trying to do that you guys have been doing up at North Pole.
Yeah, so um, this is actually a family deal that we did with our kids. And then of course when I got my first church, we started doing it, and we haven't stopped since. We get together, invite the community in. We don't do it at the church. We do it at a community venue. This year, we're going to hold it at the senior center. And it's a really nice building and everything. So it's big enough. But anyway, we get everybody together. We supply all the things to build the candy houses. We don't say gingerbread house because we don't use gingerbread. We use graham crackers. And
Yeah.
my wife prepares all the what do you call it? The icing, the brick and the mortar to glue everything together.
Yeah.
And we invite the community in. There's parents, adults, kids. I mean, we get everybody from, a couple years old on up. And I usually I start with a message. I welcome them, and then I do a little bit of a little devotional, and present the gospel to them, and then go ahead and pray. And we start out. This year, it was amazing because I was our church was awarded a grant from the region for $1,000, and we have to put $1,000 towards it. So that's going to cover quite a bit of expense for many of our events that we do throughout the wintertime. And that was the first time I knew we even had it. So thank you, Pastor Hunter, for sharing that with us. because that
Yeah,
was
I'm glad it worked
great.
out.
I was able to get that. And so this year we won't have to be putting out so much money towards all the different things and then of course the rental fee, which isn't that much, thankfully. The senior center doesn't charge hardly anything.
Yeah.
And we put it out on Facebook. We put it in the events so that it will get to everybody. So there's a lot of people from Fairbanks, North Pole, they all click on it. And we'll probably do some door prizes this year. And we usually have snacks and drinks there for them. So yeah,
Yeah.
it works. The kids have a lot of fun. The adults, they even try it. They try building some of the houses. So and then of course everybody gets to take their house home and put it up for Christmas, whatever. But
Yeah.
it's a fun event. It's a good
Sure.
good way to meet the community. Yeah.
Hmm. Challenge, of course, for Brad is it's Christmas year round in his world.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's the theme of North Pole. Christmas
Yeah.
all year.
Other events? What do you guys do?
Just
Dave?
we do a couple of things. We always pick like we put together backpacks for SOAR ministries, and they take the backpacks and gifts of money to Russia for kids at Christmas time, and that's always fun. We put together 100. The ladies put together 100
Wow.
backpacks this last weekend for that, and we've done. Every year we do a community Christmas tree. In other words, there's a family that has need.
Mm.
We'll put things up on the tree, and people can take whatever their need might be. We also do
So who identifies the family? Are you working with a group, or it's something you're taking on as a church?
usually somebody will identify a family that has need.
Yeah.
And if we don't have that, then we do special things there's a Freedom House. It's in a recovery house in our community, men's and women's home. And especially the women's home, they have children. And so we do a tree for them. We always buy gloves and socks and things like that at
Mm.
Christmas time for our Freedom House men's home. They're just trying to be community minded with that, and it's always been a real blessing to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I have one thing to add. We love our Christmas Eve service because we have candlelight, and everybody loves the candlelight. And I have a gentleman that he was the fire protection or safety officer for a number of oil companies, and he just panicked one Christmas Eve. He's like, "Do we have some way if set the place on fire? Is there,
Mhm.
and I hadn't even thought about it. So just as a thought out there for all of you who don't think, I just get excited about the event and don't think.
Right.
We've
Right.
since we have a couple of 5-gallon buckets with towels filled with water in various places in the sanctuary, just in case there's an accident. We need to put some
Good
fires
idea.
out. This year we're going to
Yeah.
add glow sticks for our kids, but there are a number of parents that their kids love to do the candles, and so we just leave it in their hands. But this year we're going to add glow sticks, so for parents that are panicky about it, at least the kids can have something to light and flash around.
That's a good
Nice.
idea, Dave. Glow sticks. Real good.
This year I'm doing something I've no new, using multimedia. I'm doing Facebook on our Facebook page. I'm doing the Luke 25 chapter a week, day a week before Christmas. And so I'm doing a little devotional or a synopsis or an insight out of each chapter on Luke for 25 days, putting it on our website that we start advertising it next week, that it'll be coming out. So you got 25 days of Christmas, and you got 25 chapters of Luke. So start on December 1st and go through the 25th. We've done that as a devotional, as our Advent devotional as a church before, but this time I'm going to write up just a couple of paragraphs out of something out of each chapter that just the Lord lays on my heart, and Christmas themed with it, and try to coincide that with the 4 themes, with the 4 weeks, and see what comes out. And I've worked on a couple of them. All right, it'll be time consuming, but we'll see how it turns out.
That's a good segue. I'm going to add this to the chat. The Hope of All the Earth is an Advent that the Foundry is putting out, a devotional. And maybe I could have Emma speak a little bit into this, but her church last year, their staff each took a day devotional and made this resource available to their church. I mean, Emma, tell us a little bit about what Mountain View did last year with their devotional.
We're actually doing it again this year. We had used the Foundry in the past, but we're blessed enough that we had 6 last year. Now we have 7 full-time pastoral staff. And so last year, each of us took 4 different days from the lectionary and wrote 500-word devotionals. And we got it published and then distributed it to our congregation, like kind of in the middle of November. And it was really special, the feedback that we got, and it was really impactful. And we even had a couple of people who would read the devotional out loud to their families, and then everyone in the family would take a turn guessing who wrote the devotional. And yeah, it was really impactful, and it's nice that we have 7 people now, because I only had to do 3 this year, which is nice. Yeah, that was kind of one of our practices.
Well, we of course bought one since she wrote a couple of the pages, and Chrissy and I were both doing our own devotions separately, but it gave us a good time as we were going to bed at night to read devotions together and then pray together. And honestly, by the time we were done with her Advent book that the church offered, we were like, why aren't we doing this all the time? And so it really put us in a rhythm where we've kept up doing devotions together and then praying together, where we together hadn't been doing it. We've been doing it separately. So if you don't have a resource, again, if you go to the Foundry, the Hope of All the Earth is what they're offering this year. And they have other years of things they've offered as well, but it's like $14 for one, or you can get a pack for 70. And I think it's just one of those things that when people read it, it might start something, a devotional on their own. I also should say in the top of the chat, I put the learning codes for last months and this. So if that's of interest to you, then take advantage of that. Jason, what does it look like in the Kiski's world for Christmas season? We haven't heard much from you yet.
Well, I was actually going to talk about that devotion book. So we've used those most of the years that they've had them out, and I'll buy them for like every family at least one copy, because it used to be even cheaper than that, but I ordered 50 today, and but they always have this, like, with it on the side, like they have little $20 pastors kind of pack that they offer, like a digital download thing, and inside of it is like all these scripture readings, the candle lighting. They have different
nice.
every single year. It goes along with whatever the theme of that devotion is. And they also have like sort of kind of sermon outliney type stuff that goes along with it, that you can kind of like have it all be together, and it comes with images and graphics and stuff. So and that thing is only like $20. So for me, it's been worth it just to get the Advent readings.
Sure.
If I'm giving the devotions out, because I can come up with any sermon on peace or hope or whatever. I don't need to use whatever they have, but it has worked really, really well for our church.
Was there a particular year that was better than others? I mean, I don't want to say that it's all bad, but did you find one that you went, if you're going to start with one, this was a great year that they did it?
Well, they're kind of year specific.
Okay.
So like
So you
even the
couldn't
one
really
I
take one
bought
from
the
a couple years back.
I don't think so, because even this one, I bought the Kindle version of the one today before I bought them all, so I could just like look through it real quick. And it
Yeah.
said like, oh, at the first Sunday of Advent is November 30th, and they like reference it, and it's very tied to the year that
Okay.
is going on. And so, yeah, but the first ones I read, I thought were very good, and
Yeah.
they're really helpful. Another time we did what's called a Jesse tree. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that.
What is that?
It's like you set up a Christmas tree, and then it's like the whole kind of story of the Bible for every day. So there'll be
Mm.
like, there's like a little ornament that'll be like Abraham. And then instead of the Advent readings, it's like you are traveling kind of through the whole Bible, getting to that day, to Christmas, and then through the Christmas season
Mm.
also. Um, and that was a cool thing that we did one time.
Yeah. So are there things that you do with kids? What are your churches doing around the Christmas time with kids?
I mean, for us, I'm kind of like I was like a youth pastor at a hypey church for a while, and I'm like kind of the anti-hype pastor.
Yeah.
So like you made a comment like what you catch them with, you keep them with, and so that's been very true. So we do try to keep it like I try to do like some really unique creative thing on the platform, usually, but as far as all the extra events, it is like what Dave was talking about. Like we'll help Love Inc. with their homeless
Mm-hmm.
shelter thing in Nikiski that they have. We'll help the Compass families that need gifts. We like try to do a lot of the behind the scenes things, or um, not the big like, oh, we're doing this amazing thing all
Right.
the time. I don't know. One one time we posted a Facebook ad. I know people probably don't even look at
Mm.
those things, but in our area, no other church is doing that. So even if you're just not doing anything unique, you're just having a normal
Yeah.
Christmas Eve service, you make
Yeah.
a Facebook ad. We
Sure.
accidentally had like
And they're
30
not that
people.
much, really.
No, they're super cheap. We had like 30 people at the Christmas Eve service one time. It was like, where did all our people go? So the
Mm.
next year we did a Facebook ad and thought, oh, we're probably gonna have 30 people again. I mean, like 120, and we were grabbing like the tops of the coffee cup lids with a knife as people were walking in, stabbing them and sticking a candle like a normal wax dripping candle,
Nice. Nice.
handing it to people.
Yeah.
So I would, as far as the community, there's community that's looking for places to go, and you
Mm.
don't have to be something that you're not just because
Yeah.
it's Advent, Christmas time.
One of the things that I learned was because Christmas Eve, our church always has a candlelight service on Christmas Eve. It doesn't matter what's going on, we always do that. So we started purchasing through Vista Print postcards that were like 4 inches by 6 inches, glossy on one side, but matte on the other side, so that you could write a note or whatever. And so we purchased like 1,000 of them, and we use them year after year after year. It's exactly the same image, but what it is it's an invitation for our people to be able to give to their friends. My wife writes notes and mails them as postcards to people throughout the community. So it's not only an advertisement, it's a way of just staying in touch with people. And like I said, we started out putting them with the date on it, and we found out that that was just a waste of money, because we had hundreds left over at the end of the season and we couldn't use it the next year. But just specifically saying Christmas Eve, December 24th, doesn't matter what the day is.
Right. I love
And
it.
and Vista Print, you can get 1,000 for less than $50.
That's a great idea.
Going back to the kids, when I got there 25 years ago, they had a tradition, and I first saw it, and I started calling it, "Oh, so we're Scrooge for Christmas." So what they did for years before I got there, and we still do it. We got people that this is their thing. They get a lunch bag, a brown lunch bag, and they put fruit in it, and every kid gets a piece, gets a bag, a little bag of fruit. Little tangerines, a banana, an apple, sometimes a pear and stuff. And you ought to see those kids' faces. They get this present and they look down there and they look up there and then they look back up at you like, what? And I don't know how that got started way, way back when, but I've got people that want to fill those those little paper bags up and make sure every kid's got one. And we do that.
So your bags are just fruit? They don't have candy in it?
They don't have any candy in them. It's just
Lame.
fruit. I know. That's why I call them
Don't follow
Scrooge
Marshall's
bags.
advice, guys.
Scrooge bags. That's what of course, I get in trouble when I say that by some of the ladies, but it's like, okay, we got the Scrooge bags. Let's go. When are we going to hand them out? But yeah, we hand out Scrooge bags.
They've been putting on a Christmas program with the kids since I've been here. And the exciting part is that about 4 years ago is the old guard handed it over to the young moms and dads. They've been running it, and I don't have any hand in it. I just, they tell me what part I'm going to play, but each Sunday school class is involved, and so they plan it. It works out great. We do stockings. We have the kids make a stocking, and they put it on the wall, one of them, and then two of them, and three of them, and we make a tree with their name on them, and then me and my wife go fill it with not fruit, but ring pops and Hershey bars and yeah, we have a lot of kids, so it's a lot of fun at Christmas time.
Sometimes it just seems like if you do these Christmas kid, even if it's simple, but if a kid's going to be up on stage, sometimes you get mom and dad where they normally wouldn't go. And sometimes a parent will come when they normally wouldn't. So sometimes, I don't know, it's good to have kids on stage.
Yeah, a lot of the ladies, their husbands don't attend, but they always come to things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Early on in my ministry, we always had a Friday night adult only Christmas party. Then we had a teen Christmas party. Then we had a children's Christmas party. And in the last 5 or 6 years, we've gotten to the point where we just have one Christmas party, and it's after the children's presentation. So the kids do their little presentation. That's the sermon. There is no pastor getting up and doing any devotional thing because they're getting the Christmas story. Then we go downstairs and we have a party. And all of our seniors love it because they get to watch the children play all these games and run around. And then all the kids and all the teens get their gift bags. But it makes my life so much easier just to do one party and plan out one thing, and everyone shows up.
Well, just cool, the idea of community, intergenerations hanging out together.
Yeah.
Dave, I feel like you were going to say something. You were off mute for a second. Were you going to say something?
Oh, we always have a Christmas program, and it's one for our kids, and it's one of the biggest attended services of the year. I mean, we have people come that don't ever come to church for, to hear kids sing. It's wonderful, and so that becomes a really special time. And like Bob was saying, we don't do anything special on that Sunday. We don't have a message. It's the kids' message of the Christmas story, and it's always really, really special. People love it. Very, very exciting. This year, we're adding. There's going to be the week of Christmas. There's going to be a children's overnighter, but we have the blessing of having Kim, our children's pastor, and she says, we're going to do an overnighter while the kids are out on Christmas break, and we'll sled and do all kinds of fun things. So that'll be a lot of fun because there are a lot of things that shut down, midweek services and different things between Christmas and this year. There's going to be just a fun party for kids at the church.
That's a great idea. My heart is just sad to think of an overnighter. Good for her.
Yeah, we've all done those.
We've all been there.
But she loves them, so I'm like, well, right on, do it.
Yeah.
This isn't necessarily kids, but one of the things we do for New Year's Eve is the youth group has I don't know if any of you did GDoc in like the 90s, Gaming Disciples of Christ. And it's kind of that themed. And so we pull an all-nighter, have all of the youth show up, have people, we have like people bring their Switch consoles and Xboxes and PlayStations and then board games and things. We've got movies going on like on big screens in the background. And then we found all of these super old like tube TVs, and we've got like 12 of them all connected to each other, all playing Halo. We call it a Halo ring. And it's 8 p.m. until 8 a.m. And it's a really easy event to invite your friends to. It's a lot of fun. Then we do like walking tacos for dinner, and then ladies in the church come in early and make pancakes at like 7 a.m. And that's been a pretty good, like, we have a lot of youth who return because of that event, because they showed up initially and they were like, this is a fun place to be.
Yeah, that's good. So there's kind of a new trend. I don't remember seeing it when I first started ministry, but there's been this service called the Longest Night, December 21st, and it's really geared towards people that are grieving during the Christmas season. I'm curious how many of you do a longest? Sometimes they call it a Blue Christmas service, Longest Night service. Tell me a little bit, if you do it, what do you do that's unique? I mean, it makes for a challenge because it's so close to Christmas Eve. So you're doing Christmas services, you're doing Christmas Eve, and then the Longest Night. But Bob, tell us about yours.
We don't do it every single year, and we don't tie it to the longest night. But I have done what's called a Christmas. What was it called? Something lament. But basically, it's a chance for people to sit for an hour or 45 minutes for an hour and reflect on the loss that they've had.
Yeah.
And usually when we've had it, we've only had it a couple, 3 times.
Yeah.
It's usually when there's been some significant losses in the community. And so we make this an opportunity for people to come, and there's readings, there's some hymns, there's some laments from the Psalms, and it's not a Christmas thing, but it's the same, but we're all decorated for Christmas. And so and when I do the devotional part, I always say, look, we're all sitting here with the Christmas around us, and inside we're flat because of the darkness that we're feeling. And the end result was that the 3 times that I've done it, I have had so many positive responses later from people saying, you don't know what that did for me.
Yeah.
So,
We have a challenge this year with that same theme. On the last weekend before Christmas, I got Pastor Hunter's coming to preach, but on the Saturday, I've got to do a memorial service for used to be the leading lady next to, other than my wife, for the church, her family. It could be a very big service because she was a pharmacist in Alaska for 40 plus years, huge in the Alaska Kennel Club. And the families decided that they want to do the memorial service on the Saturday, the 20th. So for trying to prepare a memorial service that they want into a celebration, but at the same time it's Christmas,
Yeah.
is proving to be some neat time as I figure out just what the family wants and what God wants, and the opportunity laid before me there to do that same thing. And Bob, you're right. It's a celebration of life. It's also a lamenting, and it's also Christmas. And the family wants the gospel presented at the same time to all these people that are coming. And it's like, well, okay, we'll just put it all in a hat, shake it out, and start off which one goes first. And we'll see. So
We do.
I attended one of those Longest Night services, and the church offered ornaments that were blank. They were gold ones, and they had Sharpies that you could write the loved one's name on it. and then hanging on the tree. And I think there was something about seeing the tree fill up with loved ones that people have lost, that you feel a sense of community, and then you could take that home with you at the end. But yeah, I mean, it was a very meaningful service, because sometimes Christmas is really hard, especially that first year for people that have lost someone. Dave, I think I cut you off.
Oh, no worries. We're going to do a progressive dinner this year. We don't do it every year, but it gives people, again, church family, to go to 5 or 6 different homes, all
Mm,
decorated at Christmas time. And people just really like it. It was something that we did when I was a kid. And I thought, well, that's not, anything special today, but people love it. All ages enjoy that. And because we don't have people in homes very often anymore, so for them to be invited to each other's homes is really special.
yeah, that's good. I feel like
One
you're
of
gonna
the
say something. Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
one of the other things that I wanted to say earlier and I forgot, um, traditionally, I mean, not traditionally, every Sunday, our worship team leader always chooses 5 songs. And I've directed that always at least one of those songs has to be a hymn. And so when we get into the Advent season, I've told them that that one song has to be a traditional Christmas hymn out of the hymnal. But then
Mhm.
on the second Sunday of Advent, it's 2 carols. On the third Sunday of Advent, it's 3. On the fourth Sunday, there is nothing but Christmas carols. And so our congregation loves that because they really want to sing the traditional songs.
Sure. And I think we all hear it when a couple of their favorite Christmas ones aren't sung during the Christmas month. So I'm curious. Joe's kind of brought up a good question about uh, a push for the community. I mean, I guess one of the questions I have is, do you do anything special for guests? Because we know that people are going to come the Christmas season that normally wouldn't come. Do you have something prepared, something for guests? And then do you strategize about how to do some kind of follow up, or something? I've heard some pastors, they launch into a series that will kind of be an entice or a hook for them to come back. I mean, what do we do when guests come, and are there anything that you do with follow up?
You talking any time of the year or just the holidays?
Well, I guess I'm any time of the year, but especially Advent. But I guess any time is appropriate.
Hmm.
Um, so that's one of my jobs at the pastoral role that I'm at right now is assimilation of new guests. And so one of the things that we do all year is we have a specific place that we call starting point, and on the wall it says starting point, and there's like a big desk, or like just a piece of furniture that has drawers, and we keep tumblers with our logo on them, and then we stuff them with like free coffee at the local coffee shop and like some information if they want to get to know us and things like that. But we also have what we call a connect card, so they can give us their name, their email, their phone number, address if they want to. And then we have like a list of things that they can ask for more information about. So kids, youth, missions, things like that, baptism. And then I follow up with them every Tuesday and email them and like thank them for coming. And that's been really, really helpful. And so we've got a lot of people who typically come around the Christmas season. And so right after that, we start into a sermon series of like, let's go back to the basics. Let's fall in love with Jesus all over again. Super base level, because a lot of these people haven't walked into a church in a long time. And we also have Sunday morning classes that we rotate in. And actually, I'm teaching it right now because we've had a ton of new people show up. But it's just basics of Christianity class. So each week we have a different subject. So we talk about what is the Trinity? What does that mean? What does Scripture mean? What are sacraments? Things like that. And we've had such a positive response of people who have wanted to get involved, people who have never stepped foot in a church in their life, or people who are ex-Mormon, ex-LDS, ex-Scientology, and or ex-atheist, and or just questioning, and it's been one of my favorite parts about ministry in general. It fills my heart with such joy to see people who are getting excited and asking questions. But in order to do that, you have to be willing to sit with them in their questions and to ponder, like, these are difficult things and we want to talk about them with you. So
Yeah, that's good.
It's such a small town that we have, if you're from the town and you visit, you're going to get inundated by everybody who, everybody's going to go up to you. Most of our visitors are seasonal visitors,
Mm,
fishermen. We have, probably a good dozen or more fishermen and candy workers who, when they return, will attend the church for the summer. But most of our visitors are during the spring and summer. And they're usually just people passing through. And again, I'll introduce myself and then we'll have one of, there's always several of the guys who will go talk to them, get information and invite them to the men's Bible studies. And there's a group there that's aggressive with that.
yeah.
We like the connection cards as well. That's what we do. We make sure we get them into the hands of visitors, and then our follow up is really important. And if they give them back to us, they get an email from the administrator. They get a phone call from one of our lay people, and they get a contact from a pastor. All of that is really important, so
Yeah.
as they have questions, what's going on in the church, what can I be involved in, we're able to handle that. So, at Christmas time, we're going to have more because we plan for that. We invite people to bring people, and we always have more. But some of the things we've done in the past, we've had, we've given them gift cards for coffee. We have coffee espresso. So somebody in the church will buy a gift card, and all that money goes towards community ministry. But we give that to the visitor so that they can come and get coffee on us. But the money goes towards community outreach. So just different ideas and thoughts that we use.
That's good.
kind of on that same line, you were talking about how important follow-up is, which is so true. And so one of the things that we do is we've got a spreadsheet of all the people that we've talked to, and we also keep track of what were their kids' names and how old were they, and if they were checked in. We keep track and try to watch for if they come a second or a third time, if they're involved in any groups, to see how well our follow-up is doing. And we also, every Tuesday we have staff meetings, and so we will go through all of the people that we met or conversations that we've had, see if there's anyone who needs to be updated, and then have multiple people who are talking about them, so that when I send the email, I get to say, hey, I know that you met Pastor Stephanie or Pastor Dorian, and they said that they had a great time praying for your grandma, whatever, and kind of make it personal. And that's been really helpful too.
When I knew there was going to be services that were going to be pretty full, like a Christmas Eve or a Christmas service, I really tried to encourage my people, don't sit in the back row, like sit forward, leave space. There's nothing worse than a young family running 5 minutes late and they walk into a crowded sanctuary and they got nowhere to sit at the very front. They're embarrassed. And so I try to encourage, especially my leaders, sit forward, save some space. And then, I mean, the trick sometimes is some of your best greeters go to see family during the holidays, which is fine. But then, like, we had to make sure: is there going to be someone here to greet people? There's nothing worse than someone walks into church and no one says anything to them, and they sit down and feel like, "Wow, this isn't a very welcoming church." And your normal people that were there are off visiting somebody, so they weren't there. So, I mean, just a couple of things I think can make a difference. Ask your question, Joe. I see it there.
Just curious on the, so if I'm assuming if everybody said they had a Christmas Eve service, they're going to have a mix of regular congregants that are showing up, throughout the year fairly regularly, and then you're going to have either visitors or the non-regular attendees. Is there kind of, from each of us, what's that percentage? So for us at PFC, if I was to guess, we probably have about 33, about a third of the people that come to a Christmas Eve service are not regular attendees. They're just complete visitors to PFC. So I'm just curious the other.
And I think the challenge too is there's like churches that don't run them. So now you're not even talking about necessarily people that don't know Jesus, but their church doesn't offer it. So they're from another church that they're never really gonna plug into your church because they're plugged in. It's an interesting question you're asking.
Right. Because it comes to, again, like I almost feel, and I'm just feeling convicted. And that was on the other question of like, are we being strategic? Like Christmas Advent, and it's great, right? It's a wonderful time, I think, for us as Christians to spend that time reflecting on the coming of the Messiah, and the anticipation of the coming again on the Messiah. But at the same time, it's an opportunity that we're getting new faces that are coming in. And what are we doing to create the connections down the road? And I'm not at all necessarily a fan of this person, but John Taffer, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of him. He has a TV show, or he used to have a TV show called Rescuing Bars. Like he'd go into a bar that is messed up, and then he would go through the process and fix it. And he did a video clip, a podcast or whatever it was, with like a restaurateur. And they talked about how do you get people to return, in the restaurant setting. And so, and I don't remember it specifically. You can go look at it. John Taffer, Taffer, and he essentially says, for the first time guest, you come in and you say, hey, how was dinner? Here's a coupon. Next time you come in, you're going to get a free chicken dinner. He goes, the chicken dinner cost us whatever, $7. He goes, so to get somebody to come back a second time, it's going to cost us $7. And so they come in again because they're getting a free chicken dinner. He goes, and then the second time they come in, hey, how did you like the chicken? Well, if you really liked the chicken, you got to come back and try whatever. By the way, here's a coupon for a free piece of cheesecake. That cost him $2. He goes, so now for $9, and these are just fake numbers that are whatever. He goes, sorry, my son's calling. I should hang up on you guys and answer him, man. But I won't. He goes, now you've got somebody there the third time. And he goes, once you get somebody in your restaurant 3 times, you're pretty locked in to get them as a regular guest now coming to your restaurant. And then they added technology saying, if you can get somebody to post on Facebook, I'm here, and say, hey, if you're willing to fill out a communication card, somebody mentioned that, we're going to donate $5 to whatever your local, NGO function is, right? To this food pantry, to this, crisis center, whatever. If you fill out a communication card and turn it in, we're going to donate $5 to that thing. If you post that you're here for this service, we're going to do this, or we're going to, whatever those kind of things are. I think we're missing, at least I know we are at PFC, we're missing a huge opportunity of creating repeat contact. We treat it as though like, forgive my language, but in ministry, there are consumers and there's contributors. A lot of the people that are coming on Christmas Eve services particularly are just consumers. Just give me a Christmas Eve service and then let me go about my life. And we want to try to create, repeat connection. So I just didn't know in that context, how many of those people, are either visiting or just guests.
And that's the danger, I think, too, is we buy this idea. If I can have the greatest Christmas service ever, that'll be the silver bullet, and everyone's going to come back. And we've all drank that Kool-Aid and realized that's a low percentage of people that went, well, that one sermon changed my entire life, and I'm going to come back forever. I mean, that's not always the case.
In our case, I would say that we have 99.9% is just our people. And if we do have somebody that comes for Christmas Eve service, it's because of what you said. Their church doesn't offer one. They know somebody from the congregation and they're there and they're just there and come in and half of those, that 0.1%, I know them and oh, hey, how you doing? They up front. Well, our church thought we'd come here and see you guys, and that's it. I don't do a whole lot of follow up on them because I generally,
Sure.
yeah. So, but yeah.
I know last year we had, we do Celebrate Recovery every week. And last year, I think it was 50-50 from our church and 50% from Celebrate Recovery. Because there's a lot of them that, I mean, they go to church, but their churches don't do, candlelight service. And so they came to our church. And so I was grateful for that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it is 8 o'clock. This has been a great discussion. Thanks for your contribution. Make sure you take down these things in our discussion board if you want to follow up. I see the Foundry. That's great. Thanks for posting that. And then, of course, those continuing education. If you need that code, that's great. Some of you will see next Thursday. We're going to be talking about the grasshopper effect. And I've been in contact with the author. He's out of the country, but there might be a chance he might join us, which would be a real treat for us. So hopefully some of you can join us. But thanks, everyone, for your contribution. And we'll see you pretty soon.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Good night.
Night.